Hello everyone, happy Wednesday. Wait a minute, what am I still doing wearing this silly outfit? Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Welcome back everyone. This is more my style. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another episode of Debby Talks. I'm your host, Deborah Bloom, and I help individuals awaken their inner potential. Now, it is the month of May, which means it's Mental Health Awareness Month, through the eyes of the Marvel Universe and its characters. Now, every journey begins with a struggle, and Captain America's superpowers are the least important and least impressive thing about him. I mean, sure, the guy's got jacked up pectorals like an NFL football player, which I kind of want to think about for just 3 seconds. Back to reality now. And he's got a pretty cool shield, but it's who he was before he turned into Captain America that is so amazing and is worth diving into. Captain America is a pretty cool guy. He's decent. He's got a heart of armor. He is humble. He is gentle, and he's purely kind. He always follows his consciousness. He fights for what's right and looks at every problem in the eye before rolling up his sleeves and getting to work. And that's why he is chosen for this wonderful and incredible endeavor. But maybe he is a nice guy and a nice person because, let's face it, Steve Rogers has always been an outsider. I mean, the guy weighed like 98 pounds, was scrawny. His father died in the war. His mother died of pneumonia. He didn't have 2 cents to his name. And his only friend, Buddy? I mean, it's like he knows what it's like to be weak and to be down at his lowest point. And so I wanted to bring light into identity. And what is your identity and what is our identity? Heroism doesn't need to come in a cool shield. I mean, that's pretty cool. Who doesn't want a cool shield, right? But after all, that's what makes a hero a hero. It's not the power, it's not the strength, it's not the stamina, but it's, excuse me, I'm getting over a cold. It's how they choose to use the power that is very, very interesting, and how you use that to channel through a voice. Guys, excuse me, I am actually reading through my cue cards over here, so if I look down, please don't hate me. I watched a really cool morning show by Dave Hollis, and he was all talking about who are you? What is your identity? And what makes you who you are? So I wanted to bring light to some of these concepts, and hopefully they will resonate with you. So he was talking about what makes us do the things we do. So have you perhaps lost your identity along the way, much like Steve Rogers? Have you recently come here from your country of origin? Are you having difficulties making friends or adjusting or finding a community of like-minded individuals? I think at some point in our lives, we all feel like that. You know, we all feel the shared idea that we're looking for us, you know, based on our own experiences and how we were raised, how we grew up, our values, and we tend to lose that. We tend to, you know, put these different masks on and these different identities when we are outside of our circles, when we're at work, when with other people, and want to impress them, when you're with your boss, when you're with your spouse, when you're with your wife, when you're on a cruise or whatever. You tend to wear these different facets of yourself because sometimes that's better, right? You wear this different identity and you become this different person, and then you come home and you take all that pain out of your face and you're just us, who you are, with all those insecurities and self-doubts and, you know, dark moments as well. So identity informs how you show up in the world. And also staying attached to this identity can really become your catalyst for change. So much like Steve Rogers, he didn't lose his identity. He knew what it was like to be a nobody. but he was heroic in his heart. He had a noble part of himself. He was a good person. And even after the experiment and he became all of a sudden this new entity, this new person, he still remained true to his identity. So we have to ask ourselves, what story am I telling myself that matters? Like, what character are you playing in your life? What attributes do you have? You know, and do these attributes serve you? You know, is who you are like today gonna be who you are in the future? And is who you are in the past who you are now in the present? And is the way that we're thinking, is the way that we are acting really serving us to the best of our potential? So is your identity serving you, or is your identity holding you back? Think about that for a couple of seconds. How conscious are you of your story or narrative that you are producing out there in your life? You know, I have to admit myself that sometimes in different situations, I tend to paint a different picture of myself, maybe because I'm scared and I'm weak and I want others to think the best of me and to see me like this strong person and I have these walls. But I don't want to have walls. I don't want to have barriers. I want to be myself. I want to show others that, you know what, it's okay to be weak. It's okay to have sad thoughts and to feel anxiety and to feel like, who am I? And then what is my role in this world? We all struggle with this. But if we can learn to accept these identities in our past, then we can move forward. We can become the best versions of ourselves. Are you telling others something different that is disconnected from you? What are your positive attributes? So think about this for a second, which is a concept that Dave Hollis also mentioned, is like, pretend you're in an elevator, okay? And you just stepped in, you're like, oh my God, my big boss from the company's here, CEO, and I gotta quickly let him know why he needs to promote me, why I need to raise up the ladder, and you have 60 seconds to tell your story. All right, now go. And you have to think about, who am I, right? Like, who is your identity? Like, there's 100, million people, billions of people in this world, but there's only one you. There's nobody like you. There's nobody with your set of genetic DNA. You are completely a unique individual. So think about that. What makes you unique and what sets you apart? Do you need to be X, Y, and Z to get to ABC? Is the story of your life creating the opportunity for what's ahead? And then he also said, which Les Brown said and Zig Ziglar said the same thing, hope in the future is power in the past. And that's a really cool quote, and I think it resonated very well with me when I read it a couple times. So live in the character of that story. Think about where you grew up, who you were, what struggles you faced, what challenges you faced. Did you have any medical conditions? Where did you grow up in a one-parent home, in a income family home? Did you move to this country not knowing the language, not knowing, the food, not having any friends? Did you grow up in a war-torn country? All of these things are facets to who we are. So you have to believe a hopeful story, okay? You have to believe that a hopeful story is possible for an optimistic future. And then really start asking yourself, like, do you matter? And do I matter? Like, where do we all fit in this whole story? This whole entire universe. We're playing these characters. Where do I fit in here? And how can I make a difference in my life? So search past things inform how we feel. Did you grow up poor? Were your parents immigrants? Did you also feel like an outsider, right? As a therapist, I mean, I speak to people every day and I hear a lot of their stories and their background, their facets of who they are. I grew up poor. My father beat me. My father was an alcoholic. I was raped. I was molested. I never learned to read. I never learned to write. I never learned how to swim. And all these things are constantly shaping your reality and who you are, how you connect with other people, how you allow others in. What does love mean? What does being conscious about self? How do you look at yourself? Do you love yourself? Do you hate yourself? So all these things have meaning because they're part of who we are and they make you who you are. So, and it's okay to feel like an outsider. It's part of knowing, you know, what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are. What meanings does my life have and how much impact is possible? And does my life even matter? So these are all, you know, very profound and really central ideas that might be anchoring yourself, you know, from your past and into who you will become in the future. So I wanted to pose this question: who are you and what is your identity? Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you have any comments or any ideas, please comment below. Let me know if you like what I am talking about and what character do you want to see me analyze? What Marvel character do you really like and that you want me to talk about? Thank you again. And by the way, if you haven't stopped at McDonald's, I just got these for my kids and they're really cute. And they have a whole collection of all the different characters. So thank you so much. I appreciate everybody taking a moment and listening to me. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Beijing, ciao, ciao. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.